Hello dear students, I am Professor Priya Kulkarni. Uh, so in this lecture, we will start with the unit 2, that is permeability and seepage. It is very important unit as considered as the one of the property of the soil. So from permeability and from seepage characteristics, we can analyze what is the behavior of soil when it is mixed with water. Okay, so we'll start with this second unit. So permeability is the property of porous material which permits the passage or seepage of water through its interconnected voids. Okay, so as you can see here, there are different sizes of the soils are shown. So uh, just imagine if one tank or one can contains gravel, okay, and another one contains sand, then silt and clay. Just and we'll add a water for a of a same quantity, and we will allow that water to pass through it. Okay, pass through it. So what is the passage of water is the permeability of the soil. Okay, now here what are the main things, or which are the main important points that we have to consider when we are allowing that passage of water through the soil. Okay, so here we will first consider what is the size of that soil material. Okay, so is it gravel, sand, silt or clay? Okay, and the depth at which we have added water to that soil. Okay, for this condition, so whatever the time is required to pass that water through the soil is the rate at which the water permeates. Okay, so in short, uh, permeability is the property of porous material which permits or allows the passage or seepage of water through its interconnecting voids. So here voids ratio is also important point that we have to consider. Okay, uh, and another thing that we can consider here, that is opposite of permeability, that is impermeability. Okay, a soil is termed as impervious when permeability is extremely low. In such case, soil does not exist in nature. Okay, so that impervious soil doesn't exist in nature. That maybe the speed or the rate at which water passes through the soil is low, but every soil or every size or every nature of soil allows the seepage of water through it. Okay, in general all soils are permeable. The flow of free water depends upon the permeability of soil and head causing the flow. So okay, this is the head H. Okay, the total head at any point is equal to sum of the elevation head, pressure head and velocity head. The elevation head is equal to the vertical level difference between point under consideration and datum. Okay, so we'll see this head point in Darcy's law. So this theory of permeability, or whatever the at which velocity of water flows through the soil, is proposed by one of the scientists known as Darcy. Okay, so this Darcy's law is also there in your fluid mechanics subject. Okay, so we'll see it. Before starting with the Darcy's law, we'll see what are the important points or factors affecting permeability. Okay, so this is what I am telling you. This is the water level. Okay, and the total head. This total head at any point. Total head at any point is equal to sum of elevation head and pressure head and velocity head. Okay, so if the soil, this is impervious soil. So if we consider here impervious soil, it means that it is just for our uh, uh, assumption. Okay, so we have seen, or I have told you that no soil is impervious. Okay, so that assumptions we have made for the calculations. Okay, so the importance of permeability. So why permeability is to be considered, or what are the significance of permeability in the soil foundation engineering or geotechnical engineering. Okay, so the permeability influences rate of settlement of a saturated soil under load. Okay, then in the design of earthen dams, it is very much based upon the permeability of soil that we are going to use for the uh, design of earthen dam. So why? Because if whatever the soil that we have chosen for that earthen dam, if it is more pervious than uh, whatever is our aim of providing a earthen dam will not satisfy. Okay, for the satisfactory function of the earthen dam, the soil should be compact and it should be less permeable. Okay, then the stability of slopes and retaining structures can be greatly affected by permeability of soils involved. Okay, then uh, so we have our last unit as the stability of slope. So there also we'll study what is the importance of permeability in the stability of slope. Okay, then filters made of soils are designed based upon their permeability. So these are the this is the important points that we have to consider every time the permeability of soil. Then we'll see what are the factors affecting for the permeability of soil. Basically there are more factors or many factors, but here we have considered what are the main important points or important factors that we have to consider for our uh, unit 2. Okay, so first one is particle size, or here what we have seen, that is the coefficient of permeability of soil is proportional to the square of the particle size. Okay, thus the permeability of coarse grained soil is more as compared to fine grained soil. Okay, so in that cases, what is the actual particle size that we are providing, is we have to consider that. Then next one is void ratio. Okay, if there is increase in void ratio, increases the area available for flow, hence the permeability of flow increases. Okay, so in important conditions or important cases where we are uh, having more void ratio or greater void ratio, in that cases there are more chances of soil to be uh, having higher permeability. Okay, so that void ratio plays very important role in the uh, relationship with the permeability. Okay, then uh, properties of pore fluid. So pore fluids means what are the uh, anything that is having in liquid shape. Okay, so the fluid are that pore fluids are fluids that occupy pore spaces in the soil or rock. Okay, permeability is the directly proportional to the unit weight of pore fluid and inversely proportional to the viscosity of pore fluid. Okay, so here whatever we have calculated water content there. Okay, so that water is actually already present in the soil, so that is considered as a pore fluid. Okay, so the permeability is directly proportional to the unit weight of pore fluid and inversely proportional to the viscosity of pore fluid. Okay, then fourth point or fourth factor affecting permeability is the shape of particle. So permeability is inversely proportional to the specific surface. Okay, for example, angular soil have more specific area as compared to round soil. So just imagine whatever is the shape of particle. Okay, so round particles or round gravels having round shape, those are having more permeability as compared to the angular soil or angular gravels. Okay, so why? Because the angular gravel fill the spaces, or they have a very less void ratio as compared to the round gravels. Okay, so their shape of particle plays important role. Then fifth point is structure of a soil mass. So structure of soil mass is that for the same void ratio, if the soil is, or if the or structure of a soil mass is having same void ratio, but what is the structure? Structure means the arrangement of particles. Okay, what is the arrangement of particle? That also plays very important role in the permeability. Okay. Uh, okay, if the soil is arranged in a well manner, then it is having a lesser permeability as compared to soil is having flocculent structure. Okay, then next factor affecting is degree of saturation. The permeability of partially saturated soil is less than the fully saturated soil. Okay, it is obvious for reasons, because for partially saturated soil we have air in it. Okay, so their permeability of saturated soil is less. Okay, because some of the space is occupied by air, and for fully saturated soil the permeability is higher, because there is not any air content and the soil is fully occupied with the water. Okay, then next point is absorbed water. The absorbed water means a thin microscopic film of a water surrounding individual soil grains. So whatever is the soil is there, so that is surrounded with the, so that is occupied with the pore fluid. Okay, so in that cases the absorbed water means a thin microscopic film of a water surrounding the individual soil grains. So this water is not free to move and hence reduces the effective pore spaces and thus decreases the coefficient of permeability. Okay, so in that cases absorbed water plays very important role in the uh, permeability. Then entrapped air and organic impurities. So organic impurities and entrapped air obstruct the flow of water and coefficient of permeability reduces due to their presence. Okay, so water cannot easily flow, or water cannot easily pass through the because of these two obstruction, that is entrapped air and organic impurity. Okay, then next point is temperature. So, just consider if same as what is the factor effect on the viscosity. Okay, so temperature is the factor or main factor that affects the viscosity. So similarly, as the viscosity of a pore fluid decreases with the temperature, in that cases permeability increases with the temperature. Clear? So because if there is a higher temperature, the viscosity of pore fluid decreases, so that liquid becomes more watery or more or can get the more liquid form. Okay, so in that cases permeability increases with the temperature, as the unit weight of pore fluid does not change much with the change in temperature. Okay, so here permeability also affects because of temperature. Then last point is the stratification of soil. So what is the soil strata and what are the layers the soil strata is having? Okay, so that also affects the permeability of soil. The stratified soils are those soils which are formed by the layer upon layer of the earth or dust deposited on each other. Okay, if the flow is parallel to the layers of stratification, permeability is maximum. Okay, in case of parallel flow, here permeability is maximum, and if the flow or the particles are not parallel to each other, they are crossing with each other. So in this case they are having lesser permeability. So because the time of travel of the water is reduced, okay, because of the obstructions, or because the water particles are not getting any clear direction, okay. So in that cases the stratification of soil plays important role, okay. So these are the 10 factors that affect the permeability of soil, and this can be asked you as a question in your MCQ exam, okay, in your final exam. So we'll just take a look one by one the factors affecting permeability of soil. First one is particle size, okay. Second one is void ratio, then properties of pore fluid, then shape of particles, then structure of a soil mass, then degree of saturation. So here just remember this thing, the permeability of partially saturated soil is less as compared to fully saturated soil, okay. Then adsorbed water, then entrapped air and organic impurities, temperature and stratification of soil. So these are the 10 factors that affects the permeability of soil, okay. Then we'll move towards the Darcy's law, and this is very important law as far as our second unit is concerned. So we can say that the second unit is having highly weightage on this Darcy's law, okay. So just we'll take a look at this Darcy's law one by one, okay. So Henry Darcy, he is a hydraulic engineer, and his law is a foundation stone for several fields of study. So as I have told you, this Darcy's law is also used in the fluid mechanics, okay. So Darcy's law demonstrated experimentally that the laminar flow conditions in a saturated soil, the rate of flow or the discharge per unit time is proportional to the hydraulic gradient. So this is the Darcy's law, and what does it exactly say, or what is the important point in the Darcy's law? So the Darcy law states that the velocity of laminar flow through the homogeneous soil mass, okay, the rate of flow or discharge per unit time is proportional to the hydraulic gradient. What does this exactly means? So uh, the rate of flow or discharge, okay, the rate of flow or discharge. So here we'll consider first rate of flow, that is velocity, is proportional to the hydraulic gradient, okay. Hydraulic gradient is denoted by I, okay. So V is directly proportional to I, and this directly proportional sign changes with is equals to K, okay. So this K is the coefficient of permeability into I is the hydraulic gradient, okay. So this is the Darcy's law. V is equals to K into I. So velocity is equals to coefficient of permeability into hydraulic gradient. Okay. Now what is the hydraulic gradient is, okay, I is equals to this hydraulic gradient is equals to loss of head per unit length. Okay. Loss of head means H divided by uh, L, okay, per unit length. So this is the hydraulic gradient, and the velocity given by Darcy's law is known as superficial velocity or discharge velocity. So this velocity is known as superficial or discharge velocity, okay. This velocity is going to discharge at some point, and then discharge through total cross sectional area normal to the direction of flow is given by. So what does we have this discharge is equals to velocity into area, okay. Q is equals to VA, okay. Now V is replaced by K into I, okay. Now here V is replaced by K I. Okay, so in this case Q is equals to K I A. Okay, so this is the statement, and this is a very important formula. Q is equals to K I A. Okay, I is the hydraulic gradient, K is coefficient of permeability, and A is the cross sectional area. Okay, now we'll see what is the range of validity of Darcy's law. So validity means this Darcy's law is not really applied to all the cases or all the points. So here the Darcy's law is valid if the flow through soil is laminar. Okay, the first condition for the validity of Darcy's law is the flow through soil is laminar. Okay, so in fine grained soils the flow remains necessarily laminar, but in case of coarse grained soil like coarse gravels, flow may be turbulent. Okay, the velocity of flow in that uh, coarse grained soil is higher, so it can be turbulent. Then the flow of water through pipe, the flow remains laminar when Reynolds number is less than 2000. Okay, so for flow through soils, the flow is laminar if Reynolds number is less than 1. Okay, so it has been found that the maximum diameter of particle of the flow to be laminar is about 0.50. So what does it exactly state? The flow to become laminar, the particle of the or soil particle of the flow should be 0.50. Okay, mm. Okay, so when the soil is having this particle size, in that cases the flow is obviously laminar, and for laminar cases the validity of Darcy's law is there. Okay, then the Darcy's law is valid for flow through clays, silts and fine sands, and it may not be valid when the soil is having coarse grained sand, gravel or boulders. Okay, so the main point is the flow should be laminar, the particle size should be 0.50 mm. Okay, then no volume change occur during or flowing. Okay, volume change means what? Water when combined with soil it changes or it bulges or it bulks. Okay, so it should be in the proportion. So if there is a dry soil and we are allowing the soil to have the permeability there, so the soil first will saturate. Okay, it will absorb water, it will come from the dry state to saturated state. Okay, so there will not get any permeable layer, or there will not be having any passage or flow of the water. Okay, the soil first will come dry to saturated condition, and then when it become partially or fully saturated, then in that case the flow of soil will happen. Okay, so this is the one of the uh, condition to for the Darcy's law. Okay, then there is one more point. For groundwater flow, this law is generally valid, but in extremely fine grained soil such as colloidal clay, okay, very fine clay, the intersections are very small and hence velocity is very small. So in that cases this uh, Darcy's law is not valid. So just remember here one thing, that uh, when there is a laminar flow, okay, so we cannot tell or we cannot sure about when we have very smaller clay size. So in that cases also velocity of flow will not happen. It will take much time. Okay, so there also this Darcy's law is not valid. Then we have our two lab experiments, that is to get the coefficient of permeability K. Okay, so we have two experiments here, constant head meter and falling head method or variable head method. Okay, and these two are the field methods, pumping out method and pumping in method. Okay, so these two methods are there for our syllabus. So these two methods are there in our syllabus, and some of the numericals are also based on these two methods. So we'll see in the next lecture these two methods, and we'll solve some numericals related to these methods. Okay, so I'll stop here and see you in the next lecture. Thank you.